Well, we just gave the saw here, the Dolmar, the race saw for Saw Fest. This is my 82cc class and under race build. We just gave her another test run, and you know, we were having some issues that you saw in the last video. And today, there's no changes from last time except some tuning. And you know, she's on her second tank of fuel at this point. But I have a much better idea of what we're gonna have to do here. She is performing a lot better now, and I'm about 90% certain what I know I'm gonna have to do. All right, so yeah, I just got done giving her a test run. I'm gonna show you those cuts here in a second. You're gonna get to see me go through the tuning of the saw, and you're gonna notice that basically the leaner I get it, the better it runs. She actually builds more torque and RPM slowly over time. Now, there are still issues though, still a whole buttload of issues. You're gonna see she's gonna have a very hard time returning to idle. I was originally thinking that was an air leak. Sometimes we get an air leak at the intake. She'll have a hard time of returning to idle, but you'll notice that I'll stick the screwdriver in at the carburetor and it'll return to idle. You're gonna notice that on video. And what I'm doing is I'm actually hitting the throttle linkage. It seems to be hanging up somewhere. It's not returning the butterfly for your throttle control. It's not returning all the way back to the original position. It's hanging up, and I'm gonna have to tear into it and see what's going on. Something might just be slightly out of alignment in there, that it's not wanting to return all the way. So, you know, like last video, I had the idle circuit cranked extremely rich just to kind of keep the idle at bay. And today I kind of tuned the idle a little bit more for what it should be, but she's, you know, wanting to rev all over the place. And I think that's what's actually going on. So we're gonna tear into that a little bit more, but we're gonna make some cuts here, and I'm gonna tell you what my findings are, and what we're gonna have to do to get this saw performing the way I want it to. It is getting a lot closer now, a lot. We've got the RPMs that I want. I need to get that torque up though. So we'll explain that here in a second. First, let's watch some cuts. Alrighty. right, so our issue here is going to be torque now at this point. The RPM seem to be running about where I feel this saw should be running, but it's definitely weak on torque, and it is very, very sluggish. I believe that's coming from our intake timing. I'm like 90% certain now. She's at 88 degrees and just too long. The crankcase compression on this saw is actually very, very low. I can't remember what the number was exactly, but right around 30 or 32 degrees or something like that. It's a bit low, and you want to be a little higher than that. It's one of those things that more can be better, but not always. You know what I mean? It's only going to take you so far. And with this one sitting down around 30, 32 degrees or something like that on the crankcase compression, I can't remember exactly, but you know, I know she's down in the low 30s. I think we're running a little low. She's struggling, you know what I mean? And I think if I get that number up a little bit to help compress more air in there, I think she'll help a lot. But that's what I think we're going to have to do here. I'm going to try to get that done here in the next week or two and have it done here before SawFest. So, you know, I was originally planning on running the saw as is for SawFest, but I still have a little bit of time. I was going to do something else, but I think I'm going to go ahead and try to fix this little issue here. Get that intake timing. I think I'm going to go for about 82 degrees on the intake timing, and hopefully that helps it. The thing is, that means I got to add like 5 or 6 degrees of JB Weld work in the bottom of the intake. So hopefully I can get it in there really nice, really clean, and not have it get into the piston and tear things up. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a little more tedious of a project to do with JB Weld, but I think I can pull it off. So, you know, otherwise, yeah, the saw's running great. She's pulling the RPM. I want to be able to lean on the saw quite a bit more, and you know, she's just a bit sluggish and everything. So we got to do a little cleanup here. Typically avoid doing JB Weld in the intake, but I don't think we got an option on this one. So, hey, it is what it is, right? Catch you in the next one. Later.